Hey, what's up everyone? It's Ryan Miller with Growth Stimulus Training. I'm checking in today with another episode of Your Question, My Answer. Today's question comes from Mr. Z, and Mr. Z posted on the GST Facebook page. He wanted to know about low carb dieting, and his exact question is actually low carb versus normal amount of carbs within a calorie deficit. And what I'd like to discuss is the fact that low carb dieting basically causes you to eat an unnecessarily high amount of either protein or fat in your daily intake. And I'm going to explain why. For simplicity, I'd like to keep the calorie amounts and the macro amounts real simple. So let's just say that this person, our sample person, needs 2,000 calories per day. And that sets them in their calorie deficit. They already know that. They've already put in their time and figured out their maintenance level, and they know that 2,000 calories per day sets them in a caloric deficit. Let's say this person weighs roughly 200 pounds. Or actually, we don't even have to get into the weight. Let's just say that this person knows that they need roughly 150 grams of protein per day, which is 600 calories. And let's just say that they also know that they need roughly 80 grams of fat per day, which is 720 calories. Now right there, you can see that you have the 600 protein calories plus the 720 fat calories, and that's going to equal up to roughly 1,300 calories. What you have is you have 700 calories left over that are going to need to come from somewhere. Now, we all know that the three main macronutrients are protein, fat, and then your carbs. So we've already covered protein and fat for our sample individual. And now, ideally, since our protein is satisfied and our fat is satisfied, we're going to need the extra 700 calories coming from carbs. Now, that's going to be roughly about 175 carbs. Okay, 175 grams of carbohydrates per day should equal up to roughly 700 calories. Now, the problem with low carb dieting is, let's just say that we wanted to take a low carb approach. We had somebody, our sample person was gung-ho on trying a diet like the Atkins that preaches low carbohydrate intake. What we're going to see is they're going to hit their recommended protein number, which was the 150 calories or 150 grams at 600 calories, and they're going to hit their recommended fat intake, which was 70 grams of fat, or it was, I believe I said 80 grams of fat at 720 calories. Okay, roughly 700 calories. But they also need to hit 2,000 calories per day, and so they have a problem. What they have to do is they're going to have to make up for the 700 calories that's unaccounted for, and they're going to have to do that without using carbs, which means it has to come from protein or fat. And you can see the problem because they're going to have to intake more than what's necessary for them in either the protein or the fat department. So it really doesn't make sense when you try to go low carb and stick to a recommended calorie number. Sure, they could just say, I have my proteins and I have my fats, and that adds up to 1,300 calories per day, and I'm going to call it good there. But unfortunately for them, 1,300 calories per day is seriously not going to cut it. When they're already in a calorie deficit at 2,000 calories, chopping off another 700 calories is not going to be good. What they're going to see is they're going to see muscle loss, they're going to feel depleted, they're going to feel weak, they're going to, honestly, their brain's going to be foggy, and they're going to have numerous problems with such a drastic slashing of their calories. And so it simply doesn't work to just say, no carbs, I found my protein, I found my fat, and I'm good to go, because you're not good. You're not good to go, and you're gonna realize that real quick. It's going to take maybe a week or two before you realize that that's not a sustainable approach and it's not going to work for you. Okay, Mr. Z, so I feel like I've put in a good answer to your question. You can see that if you stick to recommended numbers of protein and recommended numbers of fat, and also stick to a calorie number that actually will work for fat loss and muscle retention and strength retention, you can see that it essentially becomes impossible to truly do it low carb style. And therefore, low carb dieting is not one of my recommendations. I feel like it has major disadvantages, and Mr. Z, I would stay away from it if I were you. This is Ryan Miller with Growth Stimulus Training. Thanks again for watching. Like, share, or comment below, and I'll greatly appreciate it. Thank you.